Social media is an innovative technology that allows people to connect across the world at any given time, and we are very fortunate to have this technology so easily accessible. Although social media allows for interactions between people that would not be possible without it, it could be a disaster disguised as a gift. Depending on how one uses social media, it can be a fun and interactive way to connect with others, or it can break one's mental health. Social media usage can have various negative effects on teenagers' mental health. I'll assert that the negative effects of social media use on the mental well-being of teenagers in the United States begs for moral responsibility from the companies whose platforms are harming America's youth. I'll begin by outlining the context of social media and its effects on teenagers in today's modern age. Then, I'll consider evidence from a comparison of relationship between self-esteem and vulnerability to depression among high school and freshman university students on the negative effects of social media and America's youth. I'll further discuss evidence from COVID-19 stress and addictive social media use about the exaggeration of these effects due to COVID-19. Then, I'll examine a counter-argument. Refuting this counter-argument, I'll respond that we need to protect the youth from extensive social media use. Lastly, I'll hypothesize what a possible solution to this problem could be. Social media is a relatively new technology and is widely accepted across the world. Today, more than ever, social media is easily accessible, and kids are getting their hands on smartphones at very young ages. The negative impacts of social media on youth is a growing and concerning prospect. There is a philosophically interesting question around who the moral responsibility falls upon in this issue. Is it the children, the parents, or the social media platforms? Between online social networking and depression in high school students, Behavioral Psychology Viewpoint by Govan and Elpida goes into the serious negative side effects from social media usage among teens. Self-esteem is lowered and there's a higher risk of depression amongst young people using social media. Using the self-report questionnaire BDI, Back Depression Inventory, second edition, the study surveys the severity of depression. In a population of high school students, study participants were asked how much time they spent on television or social media and how much sleep they got. The average age of the population was 18, and there is no significant difference in gender. The average time spent on social media was around 1.8 hours, with a standard deviation of 2 hours. Time spent watching TV was 2.5 hours, with a standard deviation of 1.8 hours. The results of the survey found that 104 students experienced minimal depression, 46 students showed mild depression, and 10 students showed moderate depression. Resulting from these findings was a strong correlation between the BDI score and social media usage. The BDI score increases with more time spent on social media and vice versa, meaning that depression is more likely the more time spent on social media. In COVID-19 stress and addictive social media use, Meditating Role of Active Use in Social Media Flow by Zhao and Guanggu shows correlation between COVID-19 and social media use. COVID-19 related stress correlated with more addictive social media use. With higher stress due to COVID-19 virus, many people turn to social media as their stress reliever and use more social media due not to being able to see people. Due to the shelter-in-place order that was given out across the country, many people were stuck inside and were unable to see others. This in turn made individuals more reliant on social media platforms to talk and communicate with others. This increased social media usage and even led to some to develop a social media addiction. Even though there have been experiments to see how social media affects teens with depression, social media still has its benefits. Social media allows for people across the world to connect with each other anytime, anywhere, and any place. This is a great piece of technology because if used correctly, can be a great tool for self-expression and keeping up with friends across long distances. Also, platforms such as YouTube allows people to watch videos that they find interesting and can keep them entertained for hours, or can be used for informational videos. Social media can be a blessing if used correctly, and it's a tool for keeping people across the world connected. Social media, at its core, is merely a tool to provide a social hub for sharing information across the globe. While I agree that social media is an amazing tool for communicating with others, it can be used correctly and can be used incorrectly. Although social media has been integrated into most of America's daily lives, I still think we have to consider how this new technology affects the younger generations. During the teenage years, people are the most vulnerable to social remarks and easily influenced by others. The data suggests that there are very serious and lasting consequences on many young people whose mental well-being is harmed by social media. Even if social media is a great tool for communication and information sharing, there should be more effort put into place to protect young people from these negative effects. An interesting problem of moral responsibility. Who should be responsible for depression, anxiety, or suicides caused by social media? Does the moral burden fall upon the youth, the parents, or the platforms? While it could be easy to say that the parents are responsible, it seems like merely a scapegoat to place the blame on them. In a world where almost every phone is a smartphone and social media platforms are so easily to access, it would be hard for a parent to stop a teenager from using social media. Additionally, as a young person in America, there's not regular guidance provided to everyone about how to act or use social media. Most of the time, teens are using social media are too immature to recognize the negative effects that social media could have on themselves. So, the moral responsibility of these negative effects of social media must fall upon the platforms. Social media companies should try harder to reduce the negative effects of social media on teenagers' mental health. Just because they are not directly causing these negative effects, they are not abstained of moral responsibility. The social media platforms can and should take more steps to reduce the ways in which teens' mental well-being can be hurt by using their product.